want to be surprised by the writing, by what I'm being told, where I'm being taken, by the characters.
Compelling characters that I care about. So they've got to come off the page as soon as I've got a script in my hand. It's got to really happen within the first 10 pages.
The best scripts are the ones where I forget the writer, I forget that this is a script, I start caring about the characters, and I really want to know what happens next.
You get a lot of people submitting scripts and they sound more or less the same. You get a lot of sort of Alan Bennett type scripts, you get a lot of Tarantino type scripts, but what we're looking for is just unusual voices and ideas, ideas where people come from a different angle.
Great story, which obviously develops as you read that script. Original story, so characters that aren't making the obvious cliched choices in their actions. And I would say something that surprises me.
Ones that I can believe in. So I like all sorts of genres, but I have to believe that the character would act in the way that they're acting in the drama. So they have to be credible. That doesn't mean that they have to be realistic. It can be fantastical, science fiction, take me anywhere, but I have to believe that the characters would do that.
I'm drawn to characters and to stories that take me somewhere completely new. You know, I like to be shown worlds that I don't know anything about, that are outside of my experience. I like to have the world illuminated through new eyes.
I'm interested in people on the margins, you know. So it could be people who don't normally have a voice. I'm looking for things that I haven't heard before.
When I decide what to watch in the evening, I often go to comedy because I really like being entertained. So when I look at comedy and when I direct comedy, I'm still trying to look for comedy that means something in the wider context. So not just a series of jokes, but again looking for the comedy coming out of those characters and the situations that they're in, and perhaps the characters transforming in some way that has a wider reference, a wider context outside of their lives, but maybe speaks to us about our own lives.
I think that if it's a good story, well told, it will have a universal theme. So if it has an honesty to it, and an emotional honesty, and that can be even in a comedy as well. You know, I think it was Gabriel Garcia Marquez who said, you know, as long as you find the truth, you can go anywhere. You can be as surreal as you want, as long as you find the truth. And it's how you find the truth that's the challenge.
I think often the worst scripts can be ones that really feel like it's been a platform for the writer. So they have a theme that they desperately want to get out there, and you've got to be really careful how you do that. It's got to be very cleverly dealt with, because there's nothing worse than hearing a theme being banged out through a script, because what happens is you don't believe the characters and you don't believe it's their story, and you can see the writer through it all.
I think the best way to do it, though, is not to think about that universal theme, but really just to think about the story that is real for your character. If those characters are true and their experiences are truthful, then that story will have universal impact. I think when we say original voice, we mean someone who has something to say about the world. So someone who is going to give you characters that are completely real, so that their experiences will move you and will engage you.
The detail in the storytelling and the way that their characters speak is an original voice. And an original voice is also when they might come with a story that's been told a million times, but they'll have a different, unique spin on it.
It's something about getting back to the root of who you are as a person, and allowing that to come through your writing, because then it can't help but be original. You can't help but be original if it's coming from you, and that's how you get the honesty in the writing, which makes good scripts.
Well, you've got to have a certain amount of confidence as a writer. You know, when you put your stuff out there, you've got to know that you've got something interesting to say. So this idea, this script has got to be, it's not got to be a bottom drawer script. It's got to be urgent, and you want to tell it now.
You need to be really interested and excited in what other people are doing, and then find your own way through that particular world or that particular form.
Listen to other dramas, read other writers. If you don't like something, work out why you don't like it. If you like something, think about what it is about that you like, and then absorb it and write your own thing.
Think about what drama is. Drama is, you know, it's the now. It's about action. It's about not avoiding the drama. You see a lot of scripts where people avoid drama. You know, it's like they get to a certain point and then cut to something else. It's the meat.
Think about the perspective. Whose journey are we going on? You know, who really is our central character?
You must make sure that your action is driven by your character's motivations. Often we see scripts where sometimes the action feels shoehorned in. It's a great story, but it doesn't quite work with those characters. So I would say, if you've got a great story to tell, find the right characters to tell it.
Read your scripts out loud to yourself, or get someone else to read them. Sometimes, you know, you're in your head, your characters sound one way, but if you read them out loud or get someone else to read them, then you can maybe hear what you're not hearing when it's written on the page. Maybe characters might sound the same, you know, and I think it's really, really good to kind of just listen and get a feel for your characters kind of when they're off the page in a way.
Start late and get out early from a scene. So once you've written it, edit your work, go through it, just think, do I really need those first 4 lines of dialogue? Quite often you don't.
My top tips for writers would be to find the truth in whatever you're writing in. Be honest about your writing. Use your own experience, but find something truthful and meaningful. Avoid all the cliches. Take us to new places in the words, in the characters, in the situations, and to be as clever at the plot, at the story, as you are about characterisations. It's all got to be working on a really interesting level.